Welcome back to Declutter Revolution. And honestly, today's video might hit a little close to home because we're talking about kitchen clutter. The tiny kind. The I might need this one day kind. You know how you can clear the counter, scrub every surface, and somehow the space still feels messy. That's what we're diving into: the hidden clutter. The stuff that seems harmless but adds up fast. Yesterday, we looked at the emotional weight of mess, how small piles of maybe useful things can quietly drain your energy every single day. And this is a perfect example. Your kitchen might not be dirty, it might even look tidy at first glance. But when you're digging through 10 lids to find the one that fit, or opening a drawer that's full of bag clips and rubber bands, that's when the stress sneaks in. So today's list is simple. 15 everyday things that are cluttering up your kitchen, even if they're small, even if they seem useful, and how to gently let them go. Let's get into it. You know those little twist ties from the bread bag, the rubber bands from asparagus bundles? For a while, I kept every single one, just tossed them into the kitchen drawer without thinking. They barely take up space, right? Until they do. One day I opened that drawer and realized it was basically a resting place for 40 tangled rubber bands, plus a handful of bent wire ties that hadn't held anything in years. And the wild part is I didn't even use them. I just kept them because I thought I should. So now I give myself a soft rule: I'm allowed to keep 3. That's it. If a new one comes in, something has to go. It sounds small, and it is, but it's also one less pile of maybe in my life. My friend Rachel did something similar. She used to have a whole mason jar full of bread ties, thinking she'd use them for cords or freezer bags. But every time she opened that drawer, she felt a little overwhelmed, like even the smallest stuff was demanding attention. She let go of most of them and kept just a couple clipped neatly inside her pantry door. It's funny how even the tiniest things can quietly drain your energy. By the way, tomorrow, I'll be sharing part 2 things you don't need anywhere in your house, not just the kitchen. So if today's list is helping you breathe a little easier, make sure to check back. Let's keep going. I bet the next one's sitting on your shelf right now. I used to think water bottles didn't count as clutter. I mean, they're useful, right? You drink water, you carry one with you, it's healthy. But then I looked in the lower kitchen cabinet and realized I had 8 different bottles, some scratched, some with lids that didn't close right, one that leaked but I still kept it because it was expensive. And I live alone, so I let them go. All of them except one that I actually use and love. Now when I leave the house, I grab that one bottle without thinking, and when it's clean, it goes straight back to the same spot. No pile, no decision fatigue, just one good bottle that fits my life. If you've got a family, maybe. Each person gets 1, maybe 2, if you like having a backup in the car. But you don't need 6 per person. You don't need the trendiest one or the one from 3 years ago that doesn't fit in the cup holder. And here's the thing, letting go of the extras doesn't mean you're wasteful. It means you're choosing clarity over collection. Tomorrow, I'm sharing more things we hold on to around the house just in case, and why they quietly wear us down. But for now, let's talk about one item that shows up every single holiday season and never seems to leave. I used to think I was the kind of person who baked gingerbread cookies every December. I had the little cookie cutters, trees, stars, snowflakes, and even a holiday-themed rolling pin. But the truth. Most years December came and went, and those tools stayed buried in the back of the drawer. And I kept them anyway, because they were cute, because maybe next year would be different. But when 2-3 seasons go by and those things never leave the drawer, they're not baking tools, they're clutter. So now I ask myself one question: did I use it this holiday season? If the answer is no, and it's been 2 years since I last touched it, I either donate it to a neighbor who does bake with their kids, or I pack it away with the Christmas decorations so it's not taking up space I use every day. One mom I know made a holiday-only bin, not just for ornaments, but for cookie cutters, themed aprons, even those mugs that only come out in December. She stores it with the tree and only sees it once a year. It keeps her kitchen calm, clear, and way easier to cook in the other 11 months. If your kitchen still feels a little festive in May, this might be the one to start with. Next up, the mugs. Yes, we're going there. I get it, that mug from Paris, the one with the tiny Eiffel Tower on it. It felt special when you bought it, or maybe someone brought it back for you, and now it's sitting in the back of your cabinet with 10 other souvenir cups you haven't touched in years. But here's the truth, the memory isn't in the mug. It's in the trip, the photo, the moment. And holding on to 20 mismatched travel mugs or shot glasses doesn't make the memory stronger. It just fills up space you could be using for what you actually reach for. Now, I'm not saying you need to toss everything, but choose one, maybe two. Pick the one that still makes you smile when you hold it, not just because of where it came from, but because you actually like using it. A woman I worked with kept a mug from her honeymoon in Japan. Every morning she used it for tea, and it brought her joy. But the others, the shot glass from Cancun, the espresso cup from Rome, they were just dust collectors. She let them go, and her shelves finally felt like hers again, not a display case of things she didn't really care about anymore. If you've got a shelf of maybe one-day mugs, this is your permission to make space for the ones you truly love. And speaking of cups, let's talk about the plastic ones from Takeout next. You know the ones. You know those plastic tubs from Takeout or Margarine or Cool Whip, the ones you rinse out and keep just in case. I used to stack them inside each other thinking I was being practical, but they piled up fast. And the truth is, most of them aren't made to be reused, not for storing leftovers, definitely not for microwaving. One day I opened the fridge and realized I had 5 of these old containers, and I didn't even know what was in half of them. Lids didn't fit right. One had a crack, and I started to wonder if saving a few cents was really worth storing my food in something that might be leaching who knows what into my dinner. So I made a shift. I gave myself permission to use them once and then recycle or toss. And for everyday storage, I invested in a small set of glass containers with locking lids. Nothing fancy, just a few good ones that stack neatly and actually last. A friend of mine even labeled hers with a dry erase marker, so she always knows what's inside and when it went in. No more mystery meals, no more drawer full of warped plastic. Letting go of free stuff feels weird at first, but it clears space not just in your cabinets but in your head. And while we're in that drawer, how many mismatched lids are you digging through right now? Let's go there next. There's a moment we all dread standing in front of the kitchen drawer, holding a container and digging through a pile of lids that almost fit. I used to think maybe the matching lid is somewhere, maybe it'll show up, but it never did. So let's just call it like it is. If the lid's gone, the container is done. No match equals no use, it's time to let it go. A couple weekends ago, I pulled every container and every lid out onto the counter. It took less than 10 minutes. I matched what I could, stacked them neatly, and recycled the rest. And honestly, it felt good. Like I wasn't waiting around for things that were never coming back. One mom I know keeps her lids in a shallow bin inside the drawer, sorted by shape rectangles, circles, squares. Sounds simple, but it saves her from digging every single time. When your food containers are actually usable, you waste less food, you prep faster, you stop playing the "where's the lid" game. Next, let's talk about another thing, hiding in your kitchen drawers. It sticks around for sentimental reasons, but mostly just takes up visual space. You probably already know what I'm talking about. I used to think fridge magnets were harmless. A cute vacation one here, a reminder note there, a grocery list, a few old receipts, maybe a school photo from 2 years ago. But over time, it added up, and every time I walked into the kitchen, it felt like my fridge was shouting at me. I wasn't looking at the photos anymore. I wasn't reading the notes. It was just noise. So I cleared it off. All of it. And then I chose what really mattered, a recent photo of my daughter, one magnet she made in preschool, and 2 strong ones I actually used to hold up new artwork. The rest went into a little memory box or the trash if it wasn't worth saving. One friend made a gallery-style wall in her hallway for her kids' drawings. She used simple wooden frames and rotates the art every few months. Now her fridge is clear and the art has a place where it's actually seen and appreciated. When your fridge is calm, your whole kitchen feels calmer. It's not just about the magnets, it's about the energy they carry. Let's stay in that drawer zone for the next one because we're about to talk about something else that piles up fast and probably expired years ago. You know that drawer, the one filled with little soy sauce packets, extra napkins, plastic forks, maybe a lonely ketchup from 3 months ago? We all have it. It starts with good intentions. Oh, I'll keep this in case we need it. But before long, it turns into a graveyard of crinkled packets and sticky mystery sauces. Here's what I realized. If I already have a bottle of soy sauce in the fridge, I'm never reaching for the one in the drawer. And I'm definitely not digging through 10 old plastic spoons just to find a clean one. So I gave myself a rule: keep 2 sets of cutlery for emergencies, like an impromptu picnic or a lunch on the go. I put them in a zip pouch and tucked it into the bin with our cooler bag. Everything else out it went. A woman I worked with kept a little container in her pantry, labeled picnic stash, just a few napkins, utensils, and wipes. The rest of her drawers stayed clear, and she never had to go searching when she actually needed them. We're not bad people for holding on to free stuff. But when it fills space we actually use and we still never use it, that's a sign it's time to let it go. Speaking of small things that pile up, let's talk about those kitchen towels next. You know the ones. You know that one towel you always reach for, the one that's been around way too long? It's thin, the corners are fraying. Maybe it smells a little off even when it's clean. I had a whole stack like that, and the truth is, they weren't really helping anymore. They didn't dry well, they stayed damp, and they made the kitchen feel just a little stale. One day I finally asked myself, would I hand this to a guest to dry their hands? If the answer is no, it probably shouldn't be living on my counter. Now, I try to rotate mine every 3 to 6 months, nothing fancy, just a couple of fresh towels that actually feel clean and work the way they should. And the old ones, I don't toss them right away. I wash them one last time and donate them to a local animal shelter where they're used for bedding and cleanup. That way, they still serve a purpose, just not in my kitchen. It's such a small shift, but it changes how the whole space feels. Clean towels, clean air, no musty drawer full of maybe later. Let's keep going. The next item hides in plain sight, and it's probably past its prime, too. We've all done it. Found a new recipe, bought an unusual spice or sauce for it, used it once, and then never touched it again. I had a little bottle of tamarind paste that moved with me twice. Every time I opened the spice cabinet, it stared at me like a reminder of some long-lost cooking ambition. And don't even get me started on the clove-stuffed mustard seeds or the hot honey that turned solid in the back of the shelf. If you haven't used it in the past year, let it go. No guilt, no what if, just ask yourself, would I buy this again today? If not, toss it or give it away. And make space for the everyday staples you do use: the salt, the cinnamon, the chili flakes that show up in your actual meals. One woman told me she sets a little reminder on her phone every 6 months: check the spice rack. She opens everything, gives it a sniff, and if it smells like nothing or like dust, out it goes. Fresh food deserves fresh flavor. And your cabinet deserves a little breathing room. Now that we've cleared out what's hiding in the back, let's talk about the tools we think we need, but don't starting with those old wooden spoons and mystery cutting boards. Most of us have a drawer full of wooden spoons, peelers, cutting boards. And yet we always reach for the same 2 or 3. I had a wooden spoon that was burned at the tip and slightly split down the middle, but somehow I kept putting it back in the drawer. Why habit mostly? And maybe a bit of it's still technically usable. But here's the thing, if you wouldn't grab it on a busy night when you just want to get dinner on the table, it probably doesn't deserve a spot in your kitchen. Now I keep 2 cutting boards, one for veggies, one for meat, and just one wooden spoon that feels good in my hand. That's it. everything else gone. If it's warped, if it wobbles, if it's just taking up space, it's out. One friend of mine set a 5-minute timer and pulled every cooking utensil out onto the counter. If she hadn't used it in the past month, she let it go. Her drawer opens easily now, nothing jams, nothing falls behind the stove. This is about ease, about building a kitchen where the tools work and where you don't waste energy digging past things you never use. And while we're making room, let's open that cabinet with the cookbooks. Yep, those two. You know that cookbook you bought during your keto phase in 2021, or the one with 100 ways to use a spiralizer, back when you swore zucchini noodles would change your life? They're still sitting there, aren't they? Stacked neatly, maybe even looking inspiring from the outside. But when was the last time you actually opened one? Here's a gentle check-in. If it's been over 2 years and you haven't cracked it open, it's probably not coming back into rotation. And that's okay, because kitchens change with us. The way we eat, cook, plan meals, it all evolves. Holding on to books for a version of ourselves we're not anymore just clutters the space we do live in. I went through mine recently and kept just 2, one I use weekly and one that brings me joy just flipping through. The rest I donated to a local shelter with a cooking program. Someone else might be in their keto season now, let them enjoy it. Your shelves don't need to be packed to be meaningful. They just need to hold what still supports the way you cook now. Ready for one more, because the next thing is big, literally. And it's probably sitting at the back of your cabinet waiting for Thanksgiving. We all have one, the oversized stock pot or that massive roasting pan you bought just in case. Maybe you used it to make turkey soup one winter, and then it disappeared into the back of a cabinet, too big to store properly, too bulky to grab easily, and too rarely used to justify the space. I had one like that, a pot so big it didn't even fit in the sink. I used it exactly once to make bone broth. After that, it sat behind the rice cooker collecting dust and taking up nearly an entire shelf. So I asked myself, if I didn't have this pot, what would I do? And the answer was simple. I'd use my regular soup pot and just make a smaller batch. That's it. No stress, no overflow, no need to store a kitchen-sized monster year-round for one recipe. One woman told me she finally let go of her jumbo roasting pan after realizing she hadn't cooked for a crowd since 2019. She borrowed one from her neighbor this past Thanksgiving and no one even noticed. Sometimes keeping it just in case means we're holding on to a lifestyle that doesn't really fit anymore. So if it's too big, too heavy, or too occasional and you've got something else that works, it might be time to pass it on. Let's take a deep breath and keep going. Because what's coming next is probably softer, but just as stubborn to let go of. I used to love the idea of a kitchen rug. It looked cozy. It made the space feel finished. And somewhere along the way, I convinced myself it was practical, like it would somehow make cooking feel more pleasant. But then reality set in. It slid around. It caught crumbs and cooking oil. And no matter how often I washed it, it never really felt clean. After a while, I realized I was tiptoeing around it more than I was standing on it. So one day I rolled it up and just left it off the floor for a week. Nothing bad happened. In fact, the kitchen felt calmer, easier to clean, easier to move, and just simpler. A friend of mine did the same after her toddler kept tripping on theirs. She replaced it with cushioned floor pads in the spot where she stands most and skipped the decorative rug altogether. No fuss, no stains, no more washing something that never quite got clean anyway. If your rug is adding more work than comfort, try living without it for a few days. You might not miss it. You might actually feel a little lighter. Next up, we're tackling the last quiet culprit, those bags that multiply like rabbits. You know exactly which ones. Reusable bags are a great idea until you have 20 of them stuffed behind the door under the sink, in the trunk, and somehow still forget to bring one into the store. I went through mine recently and realized I had bags from grocery stores I don't even shop at anymore. Some were falling apart, some were too small to hold anything useful, most of them just taking up space. so now I keep it simple. 5 bags. That's it. I fold them and store them in the trunk of the car, not in the kitchen, not in the entryway, just where I'll need them. And I have one that folds into a tiny pouch that stays in my everyday tote, so I always have a backup. A mom I know took it a step further. She made a rule: if a new one comes in, an old one has to go. Her bag bin stays tidy, and she actually uses what she has. When we hold on to clutter in the name of being eco-friendly, it starts to work against us. Keeping what you'll use and letting go of the rest is its own kind of sustainability. And just like that, your kitchen feels easier, lighter, more yours. No overstuffed drawers, no mystery lids, just space to breathe. Let's wrap this up together. And that's it. 15 tiny things that might be cluttering your kitchen, not because they're bad or broken or useless, but because they're too many backups, too many just in case, too many quiet demands on your time and energy. You don't have to let go of everything today, but maybe you pick just that drawer of random rubber bands or the mountain of reusable bags you didn't mean to collect. And when that space opens up, notice how it feels. A little more room, a little less noise. That's the whole point. Decluttering isn't about chasing perfection. It's about coming home to something that works for you. Simple, honest, calm. Let me know in the comments which one of these is living in your kitchen right now, and don't forget, tomorrow we'll move beyond the kitchen. There's a whole house full of things we can gently release one breath at a time. I'll see you then.